My husband, Darren, was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2009. He was given 18 months to live even before the doctors did surgery or even had anything to show. And immediately, Darren was like, that's not going to happen. I have young kids and I need to see them grow up and graduate from high school. And people ask me all the time, what changes has your husband made? How is he still here? How is he this walking miracle? And I'm like, you know what? He has not changed a single thing. So when I was diagnosed in 2021, it was shocking how I responded. You would have thought me watching him with that unwavering belief, I would have been the same. I wasn't. I literally freaked out. They said, there's nothing we can do for you. You have 6 months to live, get your affairs in order. And so she went home and believed that, and she did that, and she died almost 6 months to the day. And when they did the autopsy, they realized the tumor hadn't grown enough to actually kill her. She shouldn't have died. In the test group, they had no more pain. They felt great. They could walk better, but they never had the surgery.
Let me tell you something extraordinary about your brain. Every single thought you think creates a biochemical reaction in your body. Every single word you say to yourself fires and wires specific neural networks in your brain. When you wake up each morning and tell yourself, I'm not good enough or I can't do this, you're not just having a thought. You're programming your neural circuitry to create that exact reality. Here's what's fascinating. So your brain can't tell the difference between what's happening in your environment and what you're thinking about. That's why when you change your thoughts, you literally change your brain structure. This isn't philosophy. This is pure neuroscience. Your thoughts are that powerful.
What if your belief could be just as powerful as medicine? What if the words your doctors speak could literally change the outcome of your healing? And what if the difference between surviving and thriving wasn't about kale or supplements, but about love and purpose and trust? I'm not a doctor, but I am your breast cancer bestie. My name is Jen Delvaux, and I have walked in your shoes. I myself went through a breast cancer diagnosis, and I always love to share my story in hopes that it can help somebody else navigating this diagnosis. I know I needed to see people in front of it walking this path for me, so I'm here to do this for you and share my journey along the way. And today's message is going to be so powerful because it's all about that combination of mindset and belief as you're navigating a diagnosis. It is just as important as the medicine and the treatment that you're going through. So I'm going to share some tips and tricks as you navigate your diagnosis. All right, my friends, let's get to the show. I want to talk to you today about the power of belief, the power of our mindset. You may not know this about me, but my husband, Darren, was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2009. He was given 18 months to live even before the doctors did surgery or even had anything to show. I will never forget sitting in that room and the doctor telling him he had 18 months to live. And immediately, Darren was like, that's not going to happen. I have young kids and I need to see them grow up and graduate from high school. Immediately, that's what he believed. So fast forward to where we are today. Since then, he's had a total of 3 brain surgeries, 2 rounds of chemo and radiation. In 2019, it went to a grade 4 astrocytoma, and the stats aren't great. If you really look at the stats, and this is why I say stats lie, it's literally that he's basically a walking miracle that he's still here right now. But one thing he has in him, an unwavering sense of belief. He believed in the medicine. He believed in the doctors. He used to be a pharmacist. So he believed in all that. He believed in what he was doing. And people ask me all the time, what changes has your husband made? How is he still here? How is he this walking miracle? And I'm like, you know what? He has not changed a single thing. He still eats all the sugar he still drinks alcohol. He's never looked at changing his diet. If he wants a hot dog, he'll have a hot dog. If he wants the fries, he'll eat the fries. If he wants ice cream, he'll eat the whole pint. He's never had any worry or fear. But the other thing about him is he's stress-free. He doesn't have stress. He even tells me all the time, like he wakes up in the morning and he just tells himself today's going to be the best day. He walks around singing. He's just light. He's just the most carefree spirit ever. He's never had fear of death from this or dying. He's just trusted and believed. He's amazing to watch. So when I was diagnosed in 2021, it was shocking how I responded. You would have thought me watching him with that unwavering belief, I would have been the same. I wasn't. We all have different personalities. We all handle things differently. I literally freaked out. I remember going into my breast surgeon's office and I was like, take my breast, do whatever you need to do. Like, I need to be here. My husband has brain cancer. We have young kids. And she was like, calm down. You're going to be just fine, which I needed. I needed to hear that so much. But one thing that I've always done, I had to do, is I had to incorporate activities throughout the day that would calm me, that would minimize the fear and the worry because it's just in me. And I know a lot of women, the women that I talk to every day, they feel the same. A lot of them do. Some of them are like Darren, the lucky ones, but a lot are like me. And so we have to figure out ways throughout the day where we can bring ourselves into that parasympathetic state, like incorporating meditation, incorporating breath work during the day, getting outside and looking at the beautiful world around you. I do think that one of the blessings from a diagnosis is we see the world through different eyes. I look at the clouds differently. I look at the sun and the moon and the stars. Like, I see it all so differently than I did prior to my diagnosis. But again, I'm that type A personality. I want to go, 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 go. And I have to work at this every day. Every single morning before I get out of bed, I also tell myself today's going to be a great day. Before I grab my phone and start working, because I love my job, I love to work, I love to do this, I love to help other women going through this. But before I do any of that, I know I have to work on me first. So I'll sit down and I listen to something that will get my head straight. I write out affirmations, I journal, I have a cup of tea, just anything that feels good. And then even my workout habit stacking, because sometimes people will say, well, I don't have time to do this. Okay, but what if you, every time when you finished working out, you sat in meditation for 5 or 10 minutes, just something to calm you. Or if you're about to leave a room, you're holding the doorknob, you just at that point when you're holding that doorknob, you take a breath, a deep breath in through your belly, you feel it expand and a deep breath out. Right there can have such a calming effect on you. And I want to talk a little bit more about belief and the power of our minds. I'm listening to a book right now. It's Mindset Over Medicine, and not to ever say mindset over medicine. I truly believe in the combination of both. That's what's always worked for me. It's really wild, our mindset. So she has a story, a couple stories in her book. I highly recommend it because it really could help you because the placebo effect is real. It's biology. There's a sham surgery. It was in the early 2000s where people they had arthritis in their knees. So they were doing this surgery. And the placebo, the test group, they thought they did a surgery. They went into the surgical suite. They actually they put them under. They thought they were doing an actual surgery. When they woke up, they had the incision. And guess what? They had no more pain. They felt great. They could walk better, but they never had the surgery. And then there's something else called medical hexing. This is wild. And I do believe this. It was a doctor who a woman's cancer had come back or the tumor had grown, and you'll get the exact specifics in the book if you're going to read it. But they said, there's nothing we can do for you. You have 6 months to live, get your affairs in order. And so she went home and believed that, and she did that, and she died almost 6 months to the day. And when they did the autopsy, they realized the tumor hadn't grown enough to actually kill her. She shouldn't have died. It's just the power of our mindset. That's why I think it's so important when we first meet with our doctors, say, hey, listen, please don't say anything scary to me. I don't need to know it all. Pour in belief into me. Tell me that this is all possible. I don't need to know all the things because I really do think our minds are that powerful. My stepmom, who was diagnosed with brain cancer the same time Darren was going through his second round of brain surgery and chemo and radiation, she navigated a glioblastoma. And she said to the doctors, when is this going to kill me? And he said, well, in about 9 months, and she literally died about 9 months later. I'm trying to get this out to as many breast cancer survivors as possible so they know they are not alone in their diagnosis. So if you could do me a favor, let me know, first of all, below, are you more like me or are you more like my husband, Darren? And then second, if you could subscribe and turn on the notifications, that would be so helpful. And I know this will help get this episode into the eyes of other women navigating this so they don't feel alone. All right, now let's get back to the show. So I really think it's important that we protect our minds. This is why I always tell people too, like, if you don't believe something, stop reading. I had radiation. And when I'm reading a book or somebody starts talking about the negative potential side effects of radiation down the road, I don't read them. I don't need to know that information because I don't want to put that in my mind. So I really think we have to, as much as we can, protect our minds, listening to anything that we can uplift ourselves. If you're stuck with stress and worry and fear, start your day off right. Start listening to something that will motivate you, that will help you, that'll make you feel better, instead of listening to something negative. I don't even watch the news. That's too depressing. Turn off the news, listen to music, get together with your girlfriends, laugh more, get outside of the cancer bubble, and just do things that are going to help you feel better. If you're needing more support in this, I highly recommend joining my cancer community. It is such an incredible group of women. There's so much support and love. There's weekly calls, there's a messenger thread, and it's just a fantastic place if you're feeling alone. I think one thing after diagnosis, we do feel alone. Even if we're having all the support from our loved ones, it's not the same when you're actually speaking with somebody who's gone through your diagnosis. You finally feel heard and understood. So don't be in this alone. We're here for you. I hope you will subscribe to the show. Just click on that little subscribe button below. Let me know where you are with your diagnosis. When were you diagnosed? How are you feeling? Where are you with everything? How can I support you? Are you more like me and have to work at it every day? Or are you more like my husband and you have that worry-free spirit? In fact, I always used to joke that in one of his brain surgeries, they tweaked something to get rid of that worry gene because he really is truly incredible. All right, my friends, get out of that cancer bubble. Have a fantastic day. Do something that fills your soul, that brings in joy. And we will see you all soon.
Someone is diagnosed with cancer tomorrow. What are some of the key messages you'd want them to hear?
I mean, the first thing, without exception always, is the belief and the hope that you can survive.